Hey everybody, my name is Lance. I'm here with Let's Be Serious Seriously, and today I want to get real serious about Marathon again. But this time, I kind of want to talk about it because I actually got to try it. They have these NDAs, and I want to be respectful of that, so I'm not going to put any gameplay footage, and I'm not going to talk about anything mechanically, specifically, or any of the plot or anything like that. However, I do have a lot to say, because honestly, those other points I just mentioned, the gameplay, the story, and all that, are probably the least of their worries. And that may sound strange, but I promise you I'm going to make sense here in just a minute. So here's what I want to do in this video. I want to kind of go about this in a constructive way. I'm not going to pull my punches. Don't think that. There's a lot going wrong with this game. But I do want to present everything as a way, things that they could probably do, and ways they can pivot to maybe salvage what they have. I don't think there's anything they could do to make this game a hit. All right, now, unless they want to really just put it back in development and start from, go into the foundations and change a lot of things you don't probably have time for. So, I want to start with the positives first, because the positives, it's not a very long list, but let's start there. One of the big things that I liked was the gunplay. The gunplay was sharp and responsive. Shooting stuff at other players felt good, which is a big deal. With a first-person shooter, you need your fundamentals to be great, which is why I'm making this video, because the game has a lot of problems, but the bones has some good stuff. It may be sickly and in a wheelchair, but maybe he'll pull through. Second thing I really like. I actually like the NPCs, the NPC enemies, and I like them because I thought they did kind of provide a challenge. They weren't the most difficult things ever. However, I did see them as a threat, and I did approach them tactically. I thought, okay, hey, I need to go here and take this guy out. I don't want to just run straight in and John Wick it, because I'm probably not going to make it out the other side. However, some of the enemies, one in particular, how about this? A lot of the enemies are robotic of some kind. They're robots. So, they look at least mechanical. Some of the organic ones really didn't make sense to me and had weird mechanical features in the sense of how they approached and attacked you. Again, I'm trying to skirt around the words, but they kind of just ran straight lines at you at times. So some of the organic enemies I wasn't a fan of. The mechanical ones, though, I thought they were pretty good. I thought they were really thought out. Again, organic ones felt tacked on. All right, and unfortunately, that's where the list stops. I went back and was watching some gameplay because I really wanted to find a third thing to like. And I said, well, you know what? That's not going to happen. That's not going to be organic. Those are really the two things I liked. And I just tried to think pretty hard. On maybe a third pillar of this game I enjoyed. But no, it's just those two pillars that I enjoyed. So now, the negatives. And I need to curtail my list a little bit so I don't start ranting and just beating this disabled game, with the stick while it can't fight back. So let's not do that. So I don't think I'm gonna really do a list here. I'm just gonna go through the motions and tell you my experience. All right. My experience with the game. First of all, I didn't even know I was accepted into the beta until a couple of days after it started, and I unfortunately already missed the weekends. I was having at night I was trying to log some hours in, and then I didn't know they had an NDA, so I was pretty disappointed when I realized I have to do this video without the footage. And honestly, one of the reasons I waited so long to make this because I was hoping they'd lift it so I can put some footage out there to kind of show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so I don't know a lot about the lore. I kind of didn't want to. I want to go in there fresh and just experience the game for what it was. First thing I experienced was I was pretty confused. I was confused in the sense that the game was presenting these abstract ideas and this abstract kind of presentation, and I was squinting at my screen trying to make sense of what it was trying to tell me, because it never said anything outright. It showed me these things that look like something out of a psychedelic clip. One of the examples I can give is when you load into a match, there are these bugs, and these bugs are eating this cable, and this video plays in a loop. It's maybe a 20-second video, and I remember watching it during matchmaking, and I'm just thinking, like, what the hell are these insects doing, right? And however, I did come to understand that, hey, you are some biological avatar for a consciousness somewhere controlling this biological avatar. And I say, but I think from the gist I got, it's a manufactured biological avatar. It's, it's not living. It's just to house a consciousness, and I think it does have some sort of nervous system, etc., etc. But even that was little. When I kind of came around, that's what it is, and I kind of knew that going in already. But from when I've played, the game made no connection to what my in-game consciousness was supposed to be. The names of the runners have been changed to, and I don't think that, I think this is already out there. I don't think it's NDA'd. But they're generic now. It's like, oh, hey, stealth, soldier. They weren't those names exactly, but it was something like that. Generic name. It wasn't like, Stephen, Sally, if you understand what I'm saying. So this leads to my second point, where I had a very difficult time getting immersed into this game. I'm a consciousness in an avatar going down to a planet to loot stuff to sell, right? But I don't have really any biological needs, I think. Maybe. I don't really know who I'm supposed to be in this world. I don't know why my character wants to loot the planet. And honestly, I'm like, in the in-game universe and lore, I'm not really dying. I'm not really getting harmed. I'm kind of like playing like my consciousness in world is playing almost like a video game, And speaking of the world itself made it that much more difficult for me to be immersed. Everything is very androgynous. Everything. I almost think everything is androgynous. There is not a lot of let me say this. The world itself is both interesting and unimmersive. I actually spent most of my time just kind of walking around and looking at stuff on the maps. And the reason being is because everything was so odd, strange, You'll have a wall, and it will be a neon green wall with like pixel text written on it, right? Even a lot of the UI graphics are like this pixel kind of like art style, like pixel arrows in the UI and things like that. It was interesting, but I wasn't into it because the whole time I was playing, I was thinking, what the hell is going on here? And not in a good way, right? Even the weaponry was all very kind of, not even alien. It was just, yeah, the weaponry was very blocky, and it still had with that pixels sort of theme where like your crosshairs were like blocky, and it just threw me off every single time. The world was so bizarre. It was too much. It was too much. This game needs a large, hot, and heavy dose of testosterone injected straight into its thigh, like it's some sort of freaking stim pack. It really needs something to get you kind of pumped to play these matches. Because look, I don't even know if I can call them this, but the male avatars have very strange designs. That all the male characters are like Teslas. Okay, no, love or hate a Tesla, but their designs look like Tesla. They look like walking Teslas. Okay, and then there's no Firebirds. If you don't know what a Firebird is, go ahead and look it up. It's a popular car that's been around for a long time. A Pontiac Firebird. Very cool looking car, in my opinion. Has a lot of style, has a lot of flair. Whereas I would say the Teslas look kind of androgynous, very sterile. But that's still not saying much. I'd have to say that the two most interesting runners in the whole thing would be Glitch and then Void. I played Void mostly the stealth-based character, just because I could kind of connect with the way he looked a little bit more. But even his look, when I really looked at the model in the menu, very odd, very bizarre, very off-putting in a lot of ways. I couldn't connect with any of this. There was nothing that got me fired up when I played a match. I was just confused and trying to make sense of it. And even when I did start piecing things together, I kind of realized it's like, I don't really think I care. All right, in this part of the video, I hate to do it. I know it's been done to death, but I'm going to have to compare this to Arc Raiders. In Arc Raiders, you don't have to know anything about the story. You can turn on the game, start going through the UI, and get into a match, and you can really piece together what's going on, right? You have a character who's not some consciousness uploaded into a bio avatar, right? But still, when you load into a match, it shows a character walking down like this busy deployment station, has this music, it's hyping you up. You see your guy get into the pod. He looks intense. He shuts it over himself, and the screen goes black. Every single time, it gets me into the mood. It sets the stage, and then you load in, and the world looks organic. It looks lived in. When you look around, you know what things are. You can put it together because everyone is so immersed. They know what's going on. They know the stakes. They start in not directly, but indirectly role play because the enemy in the game are the Ark. Sometimes I go in PvP and I feel bad. When the guy, I shoot him down and says, man, look, I was just trying to help you out. Like, why did you take me out? You feel bad because the Ark really is the enemy. But it adds to the game. Marathon, unfortunately, doesn't have any of this right now. They need to redo something with those character designs. The character designs, they almost say nothing. They don't say anything. Again, not to overuse the word, but they're androgynous. I'm not this kind of guy, but at this point, if they gotta give Glitch big old bitties, just do it.
What?
Just do it. They need something showing you like what you're supposed to be, your consciousness, whether you're a brain floating in a jar or you're some freaking shriveled up wreck in a pod, weekly eating your nutrient paste before you get plugged in for Next, the point, they need something to connect. You know, if you are this shriveled up wreck, maybe there's some gameplay reasons as why you're going down to the planet with these avatars. Maybe you're trying to pay for this is just me spitballing. Don't take anything verbatim. You know, maybe you're trying to pay for medical procedures, or maybe you're trying to get yourself fixed up, or maybe you're on a revenge mission. I don't know, something to connect you with the world. The whole consciousness thing is not working. You need to get your blood pumping before you go into a match. You don't need to see insects chewing on wires. You need to see your guy walking down the deployment zone like a boss, jumping into a launch pod, and boom, slamming it close. And as controversial as it might be to say now, you need the testosterone. You need your average guy to be pumped. All right, I'm not saying girls can't play the game. Girls play Arc Raiders, but because the way the game is, the girls play, it's usually different than the guys. If you're excited for the game, go ahead and comment below. There is nothing wrong being excited with it. It's abstract enough where I could see people being into like the weirdness, but it's going to turn off the most people. Yeah, I promise you, it's going to turn off the majority of people. And I wish I could have posted some of my gameplay to show you what I was talking about. Anyways, guys, take care in later days.